Okay, what's happening? Jason here from smarthelping.com, and we are continuing on our mission to upgrade all of the startup models. There's about 60 of them. I'm through the first 11. This week we're going to be doing the open pit mining model, which I originally built in the end of 2016. So a lot of upgrades here. These are the fun ones because there's there's a lot to do. And you can see all the tabs are kind of structured differently than my normal templates because this was way back when I first started. So we're going to have a lot of fun things to do here. Before I get started, remember if you want to support me, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Also, most importantly, check out smarthelping.com. Uh, I'll highlight the real estate section today. But I've got hundreds of templates on all different industries that I've built over the past, well, we're going on 7 years now. Um, but real estate, we've got, value add flipping calculator, self-storage, mixed use, real estate development budget versus actual, multifamily real estate, 2 to 30-year joint venture, preferred equity, preferred return, general cash flow waterfall, and a joint venture with monthly waterfalls. And this has a sensitivity logic to it as well. So be sure to check that out. But my bundles are always reduced, so you can get all those templates for a $50 value for only $135. Okay, without further, let's get into this. So the mining model, we're gonna have. I like the layout for the returns. We don't really have. There doesn't even exist a global control. Also, this is on an annual basis, not a monthly. So there's going to be some limitations to that. I mean, we're not going to have an end month. We'll have this year's of operations can be stay how it is. It doesn't really look at a burn. It just looks at the initial startup costs and then assumes, um, based on your revenue and costs. Well, I guess you could have a burn. Um, I wonder if we want to change. So the mining and ore production. This is kind of the meat of the model where you get some cool logic. Is you can actually define how much ore you're producing per day in tons, how much of that's waste, and then based on that, you can define of the expected percentage of ore mined. You can define how much of that is each of these types of, you got metals here, gems here, coal, limestone, all kinds of different clay, gravel. So you can define a percentage of your ore that represents each type. And then based on the value or based on how many tons there are, this takes that percentage times the value per ton times the total ore production. These are numbers from a while ago, and I don't bother updating these. The rates will change all the time, like, you know, they'll be different even in a month from now. So the user will go in and put in the expected prices they think all these things will be worth per ton. And then this model will spit out the expected ore production over time, and then there's a startup cost section, OpEx, also wages of different people. So a lot of things you can plan out here. I'm wondering if I want to put in a driver here that says percentage of base production. So you define all this stuff, and this is ore production per day. Um, so these are like the base assumptions. I'm wondering if it might be worth it to add a percentage of base achieved, and it could be either under 100% or 100% or over 100%, which would give the user a little bit more flexibility if they think the amount of ore that they produce relative to this base amount will change over time. Right now, it's just assumed whatever you set up here this is what you're going to see every year and forever. And there's also discounted cash flow analysis or return on investment analysis, um, and internal rate of return, and all that. But I'm wondering, I think we will add that logic. I think that's one piece that will advance the model a lot without a whole lot of change. This is all fine how this works. This is really good. Visuals are fine. Cash flow, revenue, and expenses. We'll have, obviously, we're going to add in some of our more advanced, we're going to add in a balance sheet, cash flow statement, income statement. We will have some logic here with the depreciable items like equipment, like all these capital expenditures. We're going to have to split some of these things up into um, startup costs versus capex. Well, I mean, some of the capex can be considered startup, but essentially depreciable and non-depreciable items. So that'll be a pretty big improvement to have that. If you're not renting, if you're buying all your stuff. If you're renting, that's fine. You just define that logic. You could define it here. And these are all editable. These aren't fixed to be these descriptions here or here. It's just trying to um, derive a cost based on some reference assumption. Let's see here. So we got some updates to do with that. We're also going to bring in our own discounted cash flow and distribution model. We're going to bring in a cap table. That'll be interesting. So, I mean, the model wasn't really built to understand burn. It just assumes you've got a startup cost, and then after year one, you're making money, which most mining operations are. It's different than like a startup new idea where you've got to get customers and you don't know if you're going to, but you know you're going to have some costs, so you're going to have burn most likely. A mining operation, I mean, yes, if your ore is way below what you think you're going to do and you've planned all your costs and hired people, you can have burn, but it's not as likely as like a random uh, brand new startup idea where there's no idea if you're going to gain traction or not in the early years, or it's going to take some time to do that. So this model just looks at the only time there's an investment is in the beginning, and then you plan out what you think that the operations will do over the, I think we went up to 50 years on this thing. Let me see how far. Did we go up to 50? Yeah, 50 is the max. And obviously, discounted cash flow analysis, you're looking at, you know, the numbers are extremely dwindled in year 50. So it's not like usually you only go out 10 or 15 years probably, but it's fine. We'll keep it. I've had a lot of people buy this, and I've had good feedback. So we're going to try to keep the style pretty close to what it is. Uh, we'll probably add a control tab, but it's going to be modified from what we currently have. There's no monthly, so there's no end month. There's an end year. Um, we'll put in the global control tab that we currently use for all the new stuff, which is this, and see how that goes. This CapEx schedule is going to be important. That'll be something we add. There'll be some modifications though. Cap table. Oh no. Yep. So this cap table is different. The marketplace had its own, so we actually got to use a different template. Let's see, we'll go to the mobile app one should be good. I don't think that had a whole bunch of variation on this. That's normal. This is normal. Income statement. Okay. Yeah, this will be fine. So I'll use this instead. Okay. Well, I guess the first thing I want to actually do here is adjust all the formatting. So edit cells, And we got to change the coloring. I do a lighter yellow now with blue text. That's kind of the common uniform thing. Let's get that in there. I don't know how much of this stuff, like the start year will probably be on the global control, not here anymore. All this stuff definitely stays. And technically on this, so you're defining of the total ore mined of the 600. How much of this doesn't necessarily have to be 100%. If it adds up to like 90, that's fine. I'm gonna actually remove this. This could be like 90, another 10% might be just waste that's not usable or something. The only reason why this was originally here was to do, I think, one of the cost calculations. Let's see, this references it. This is just the total cost relative to the amount of ore mined or tonned per mine per day. Let me see, did I have any other calculations based on waste production? Uh, I don't think so, actually. It was just there to show representative, if there is waste, how much is it? Okay, so this is fine. Costs, all this stuff will still be used. This is great. These bottom-up assumptions are definitely useful. Yeah, hourly workers, you've got operational, so drillers, blasters, all this stuff is pretty um, specific to mining. But let's give ourselves some light line styles here, and these are editable. Hourly rate, count, and then based on an hourly rate, count the hours per shift, shifts per day, and active days per year. That will apply to all of this logic and give you an annual total cost for each of these worker types. You've also got salaried here, just salary and count. This is assumed to stay the same over time. Put that up there. Equipment. This is just for demonstration purposes. So if you're trying to explain what you're using, you could put that in here. The earlier models like this I did, I had a lot more informational non-logic pieces, like equipment schedule, building schedule if there is one. Also, I did on the README here, I did a lot of sources. If you're trying to get into mining, here's a list of 12 good sources to just start on. Financing is fine. All these are, make just light gray formulas. There's no reason to have a late payment logic here. That's not even relevant. This is just supposed to show amortization schedule. Based on if you're going to finance any of the startup costs and pay on interest and principal on that over time. That'll pop in there. This could be black. So I got some formatting abnormalities here. My go-to is just a light gray with black text, so we're going to change all the highlights to that. So we're all uniform and professional looking. Okay, good. Looks better. cooking here. Nice, nice. Pro forma. Oop, dang it. These, I guess I can keep these blue. These are actual dollar amounts. Let's update this. Okay, so the current model, we've got all the formatting updated. I don't know what's going to stay and go. Most of it will stay, but that's the first step. Next step, let's add in all the tabs we're going to import in Logic. So global control, an index page. Start adding these in. One second. I actually never did a sound check. Probably should do that real fast. Let's see. Test. Test. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Sounds working. That's great to hear. All right. So index. In this process of all these upgrades, um, I'm not raising prices of anything. I've actually lowered the prices on a few of the template bundles, and my goal is just to make everything I currently have just better. So I'm trying to improve the quality of the template product that I have on the site, and um, yes, I am sacrificing. I won't be making a bunch of new models until this is all done, but I believe it's worth the sacrifice to do this, upgrading all this. So I'm happy to do it, and it's gonna, obviously give a better product to anybody buying these templates. I am gonna, so, and no, I will. If you have ideas for like one tab calculators, financial calculators, a couple weeks ago I did a value add real estate one that was nice for acquisition, value add, improvement, and then exit. And it was really like I've actually had a lot of volume on that so far. It's only been a couple weeks, so I am looking at if you guys have ideas on something you want to build that's like a one-page template. That's not. It's more like a calculator that is very useful for a broad audience. Um, I will build. I'm looking to build those types of things as I'm doing these upgrades. So I'll be thinking about that during the week as well. Okay, so we got income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. Now we're only doing annual, which is going to be a bit different. I'm trying to think. Well, the question is, do I want to manually update each one? No. We'll import the monthly and the annual, but obviously the monthly is not going to be relevant. But I want to keep the logical references in there so I know, so it's easier for me to do the full integration. So we'll do that. We'll definitely have a CapEx tab, startup cost tab, cap table, uh, validation, and valuation. Okay, so CapEx, and to do the import, these tabs have to match the names that are coming in. Cap table, startup costs. We'll have a distribution. Distributions one, executive summary. Validation. There's a reason why there's spaces in all the names. Uh, there's only an annual detail. There's no monthly. We'll have to have a monthly though, so we don't break the reference on import. We can delete it after we do that. What else? Validation. Debt schedule. We'll rename this. Then we have income statement monthly, income statement annual, balance sheet monthly, balance sheet annual. Like I said, we'll delete the monthlies, but I need to have the words in here. Cash flow statement annual, monthly. Alrighty. Is that everything? Terminal value, global control. This will go way down here. And then global control, we add that. Now, I don't know how, we're just going to be doing some finessing to make all this kind of mesh together and look good. So we might have a 3-day integration here instead of our normal 2. Let's put this over here. And I may just, well, we'll see. I'll probably use the base references over here. So these initial cost and wage tabs need to put up front. These are just informational tabs. These are the actual real drivers here, cost, wages, and then I'll probably run some of the CapEx off of this, whatever we end up doing with this. All right, I believe we have all the tabs, so let's start importing. This is always more fun when when I'm updating the old templates, because there's just a lot of cool stuff that we can change and update and keep a lot of the base logic, but improve the overall functionality and reporting abilities and insights that they can give. Why do I always do this? So this is not obviously income statement. This is global control. Then we need startup costs. We kind of already have, but we're just going to put this, well, it'll just be a different reference, so we don't actually need to have this. This will be here. It'll just be a reference right now. Cap table we definitely need. If you're going to have investors, you don't have to. Obviously, you can just zero out that and just have owners, operators as the equity holders. That's fine too. Okay, we'll need terminal value. Although I don't know with a mining operation, I don't know how relevant a terminal value is going to be. You're kind of almost just selling, I guess, the rights to any land that you have that you didn't mine yet. It's definitely different than like a SaaS startup where you're selling something that's got a product and a service and tangible things that can be used to make money in the future. And in this exit, you're basically you might sell your equipment. So I don't know. We'll probably do some things there that are different than normal because a mining operation is just not the same as like a traditional brick and mortar business or something where you're running a thing where you sell and the brand name matters. Here the brand's not really important. Well, I guess if it's a huge operation and like one big mining company is buying another one, I guess there might just be a price and some of it gets assigned to fixed assets, some of it's just, you know, whatever. Yeah, yeah, I think we'll look it up, but I think we'll keep this. We'll have some kind of way to derive a value on exit if you want to include it. Obviously, you can hit no on this and we'll have no terminal value calculated. Okay, so cap table, capex. This is other important one. Get this in here. So we're definitely going to be thinking a bit on this integration because there's just a lot of things that are a little bit different, which is good. All right. Now I think we can do, let's see. I guess we'll pull in everything and then just delete what we don't need. It's the best way I could think to do this. I mean, all it's really going to mean is a lot of the annual calculations usually just reference the monthly. And in this case, there's just not going to be a monthly, so it'll just be calculated on the annual for these income or financial statements. All right, well, let's try this. So, as you know, we're going to replace all these references to the other workbook with blanks, and then we should have, that will then be a successful import of all of the different logic. So we want to go with that, and a blank, all workbooks, replace all. Nice. First try. Always love it when that happens. Oh, awesome. Um, so I'm gonna keep this workbook up in case I need to reference something, but we're pretty much done with that now. We can just focus on. We'll do some formatting tomorrow. Usually the day on these day one, I'll just get all the logic imported, do some formatting updates. Day two is more of the bulk of the work where I'm like looking at the actual income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, and getting all that data in, updating any other calculations that we're going to need. Um, so today, like I said, we're formatting. Oh, missed this update on these. Keep that there for now. Oh, shoot. We also got to get in the executive summary. Oh, man. So that is going to have to be, we'll have to do a find and replace on this. And definitely contribution distributions. This kind of cash flow analysis on here as well. Okay. Nice. So that all went fine. Um, so that's good. We'll do some formatting on these. So, well, monthlies are not really going to matter. So I'm not going to format those, but the annual we do. So let's put these at 15. Change this to Mining Co. Cash flow annual. All right. So I guess we could update the year on here. There's not even a validation tab because there's no months. There's just going to be years, but this could be interesting. So we'll just do start year would be his. I actually want to make it a year though, so it's going to be this. But then we can go e-date here, comma 12. So these are actually years. And I think I'm going up to 50. Okay. And yeah, all these will have to be extended for 50 years. I guess we could do that while we're sitting here. So no need to mess with. Oh, wait, why is this? Oh, because balance sheet. No need to mess with the monthly. Oh, 15. Alrighty, that looks good. We'll do these as well. Shoot, I don't got a year count. Let's do distributions first then. This will now be this number. Alright, now what of my executive summary should be that. Yeah, it's kind of fun to see like my newer report styles into this old template and how it's all gonna fit. Now we can lock the or freeze here. Oh wow, I almost got it perfect. Freeze, freeze. This is fine. Good. I'm just doing the skeleton here today. All right, we got that in. These are all going for 50 years. Looking good. Ooh, this will be a fun one. We'll have to extend all of this out for 50 years. Dang it. Clear all. This goes out to 2070. I really like the cap table I developed for all these new integrations is looking really good. I haven't had any updates to have to do to it. It is just super robust and functional. All right, we are good. Index we'll do at the very end of the whole process. Um, what else? Costs, wages, income statement. We don't need. This is good. Annual, annual, annual. What's this looking up? Yeah, that'll all be updated. we'll have to build some custom depreciation logic here for all these things. Monthly detail, we don't need. Oh shoot, this is a main input here. Mining and ore. So you fill out your general model assumptions for timing, exit, this. Returns will now just be return. I'll have yours operate on the front tab. We'll have financing on the front tab. All this stuff will go over there. This will be on the index page. I'll keep this here though. I'll just these will now be references instead of inputs for all this stuff. All right. Well, that's a pretty good day one. For day two, we will go in and start actually working on references and formulas. Now that we've got a nice skeleton structure, I've thought about how things need to be integrated to make this work. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, check out smarthelpme.com. Hundreds of startup templates and models. Note I did add a feature here where I'm listing past or the latest purchase templates. The most recent 6 purchase templates will be on the sidebar here. I did some cool automation with this with Google Sheets and PayPal, so I can, like, every time I get a sale, it'll just automatically update. I also am doing, I'm listing some sales I make from the other vendors on here. Well, actually, I'm going to list them all, but that's not automated. I have to manually do that. So you'll see stuff on here from eFinancial Models and Eloquence that I've sold because I list my templates on those marketplaces as well. And obviously anything bought here will be listed, and only the most recent 6 items. So hopefully that's a little bit of a social proof to help people like feel like, oh, there's, other people are buying stuff on here. Anyway, I'll be off. I'll see you guys. We'll just keep grinding here. We've got we've got to get through. See all these industry startup models. We got to get through a lot of these. We've done some of them. We've done, well, now this will be number 12, but open pit mining. I don't know what's next. I'll have to look on my list. But this, all these SaaS models, most of these are actually um, done now. We still got some to go though. So a lot of updates. Happy to do it. I think it's going to improve the value of all these. So